throughout the whole world, more particularly to all Shepherd's Rod believers, and most especially to our beloved brothers and sisters in the United States of America. This is our episode number 1 on the subject, the daily in the sanctuary. This is one of the most important subject. Not only the most important, but it is the foundation of our faith. Now let me read to you Evangelism, page 221 and 222. The sanctuary truth, the foundation of our faith. The correct understanding of the ministration in the heavenly sanctuary is the foundation of our faith. The center of Christ's atoning work. The subject of the sanctuary and the investigative judgment should be clearly understood by the people of God. All need a knowledge for themselves of the position and work of their great high priest. Otherwise, it will be impossible for them to exercise the faith which is essential at this time, or to occupy the position which God designs them to fill. Every individual has a soul to save or to lose. Each has a case pending at the bar of God. Each must meet the great judge face to face. How important then that every mind contemplate often the solemn scene when the judgment shall sit and the books shall be opened. When, with Daniel, every individual must stand in his lot at the end of the days. All who have received the light upon these subjects are to bear testimony of the great truths which God has committed to them. The sanctuary in heaven is the very center of Christ's work in behalf of men. It concerns every soul living upon the earth. It opens to view the plan of redemption, bringing us down to the very close of time, and revealing the triumphant issue of the contest between righteousness and sin. It is the utmost importance that all should thoroughly investigate these subjects and be able to give an answer to everyone that asketh them a reason of the hope that is in them. Evangelism, pages 221 and 222. Here in the Great Controversy, the Great Controversy, 482 and 483. So, let's read the statement. It says, the deepest interest manifested among men in the decisions of earthly tribunals, but faintly represents the interest evinced in the heavenly courts. When the names entered in the book of life come up in review before the judge of all the earth, the divine intercessor presents the plea that all who have overcome through faith in his blood be forgiven their transgressions, that they be restored to their Eden home and crowned as joint heirs with himself to the first dominion. Micah 4, verse 8. Satan, in his efforts to deceive and tempt our race, had thought to prostrate the divine plan in man's creation. But Christ now asks that this plan be carried into effect, as if man had never fallen. He asks for his people not only pardon and justification, full and complete, but a share in his glory and a seat upon his throne. The great controversy, 482 and 483. Now, I would like to read 488. The great controversy, 488. It says, the intercession of Christ in man's behalf in the sanctuary above is as essential to the plan of salvation as was his death upon the cross. By his death, he began that work which after his resurrection, he ascended to complete in heaven. We must by faith enter within the veil, whether the forerunner is for us entered. Hebrews chapter 6, verse 20. There the light from the cross of Calvary is reflected. There we may gain a clearer insight into the mysteries of redemption. The salvation of man is accomplished at an infinite expense to heaven. The sacrifice made is equal to the broadest demands of the broken law of God. Jesus has opened the way to the Father's throne, and through his mediation, the sincere desire of all who come to him in faith may be presented before God. The great controversy, page 488 and 489. So the voice of inspiration is plainly telling us that Christ's mediatorial work in the heavenly sanctuary in reality is the crowning act of the gospel. It is as important as lagi siya raw sa lagi. Uh,